Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, then it's good to have you here. Today, I would like to share with you guys some recent experiences I've had with Jehovah's Witnesses, and to really just emphasize that not every conversation that you have will turn out the same way, and we are all individuals. Every Jehovah's Witness is at a different stage in their life. And because of this, we can't expect that we're going to get the same reaction with the same content, and to be flexible in our conversations and understanding. So recently I went to a park and I knew that there were going to be probably 3 sets of Jehovah's Witnesses stationed throughout the park. And the first set of Jehovah's Witnesses that I walked up to were at a table, and they had the literature laid out on their table with different languages. And I approached them and I asked them, I introduced myself. Hi, how are you doing? Having a good day? And I said, I look at the website. I have read Watchtowers before. What is the purpose of the faithful and discreet slave? And they didn't actually understand that term. They turned out to be from the Spanish congregation, and I had to show them some verses in their Bible so that they would understand what I was talking about, because for some reason they knew the word in Spanish, but they didn't know it in English. This happens often when I talk to Jehovah's Witnesses from the Spanish congregation. They speak perfect English, and then they don't really understand what you're saying all of a sudden. I believe them, though. This set of Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't think that they were trying to deceive me. I don't think so. Anyways, it was a conversation that lasted about 50 minutes, and I brought up some of the Watchtower's past false prophecies, and I also brought up how the Watchtower quoted from a spirit medium, Johannes Grieber, to support how they translated several verses. And I just don't think that they really understood the seriousness of some of the things that I brought up. But I did my best, and I can only plant seeds, and we had a friendly chat, 50-minute chat. But sometimes in conversations with Jehovah's Witnesses, they can get agitated and they demand that you leave, and it's just a mess. Well, that didn't happen with these two. We agreed to disagree. They still thought that it was okay if the Watchtower Society adjusted views, then somehow that would make false prophecy and quoting from occultists fine. Anyways, that was the first set. The second set, I asked the same question, and one of the gentlemen took me to Acts 15, and he was trying to teach me about the governing body. But another gentleman who was with him recognized me because a year prior, I had asked him a question, and I actually remember him yelling at me and asking me in an accusatory tone, "Do you think that you know the Bible better than us? That's ridiculous." And he stormed off. He was extremely agitated, and this was a year ago, and I haven't seen him since then. The House of the Princes?
Beth Sarim?
Beth Sarim?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I've seen it. I don't have anything to say about it.
What does God say about it?
You know what? You already talked to them. I don't want to talk.
But you're a totally different person.
I know.
You're made in the image of God.
You know what? We come and set up our card here so that people can take literature if they would like. We don't sit here and debate things with people.
You're supposed to share the gospel.
I know.
Jude 3 says to
we do, but we don't approach people
for the
to
faith.
do that. We don't. Yeah, but we don't. The laws, the direction of the park. If people show an interest and they walk up and they want to take a publication, but we're not here to be preached to.
You're not here to be preached. Well, I'm not preaching to you. I'm just asking questions about like false prophecy and how do I.
You think we're false prophets?
I think that the governing body knows about these false prophets.
You know what?
Specifically, Judge Rutherford's a false prophet.
Okay. So you made your point.
Okay.
Talk to them.
Wait. You asked a question. You asked a question about whether or not I think
I would never come over and attack your religion, your beliefs.
You attack religions all day long. That's hypocrisy. You asked if I thought you were a false prophet.
Okay, I don't want to talk to you.
April 1st, 1972, Watchtower.
Jesus said, shake the dust off your feet when people don't want to talk to you.
Okay.
Follow his direction on that.
See,
It's
but
not
why is it
complicated.
that I'm not shaking my dust off my feet or the dust off my feet? Okay.
I told you I don't want to talk to you. What's hard to understand about that? You can't force Jesus. You can't force your beliefs on people if they don't want to listen to you. They don't want to listen to you.
I understand about that, but I care about you. And I think that you're following an organization that's not, you're not going to enter the kingdom.
You've got 150 years of Bible study here on these three men. You know, and I'm sorry that a young girl like you can't show respect before gray hair. You think you know more about the Bible than us? That's ridiculous.
Why is that ridiculous? Because of my age?
I don't want to talk to you.
But he recognized me and he accused me kind of being deceptive because I went up to them and asked a question, and I told him, you know, that's not the case at all. I'm just trying to simply ask you questions because anyone who tries to help you, you accuse them of being an apostate and call them names, you know. And they packed up their stuff and left. But at first I thought, this man has a really hard heart. But then afterwards I thought, you know, I think he just might be projecting on me. It could be that he knows lots of these false prophecies. He does know about Beth Sarim or Beth Sarim, but he's justifying it. So he knows a lot of facts about the society, but right now he's not really living according to those beliefs, right? So he's out in service, telling people the truth, and yet he knows all this dirt on the organization too. And then somebody comes along and points it out and he starts yelling at them. That's projecting. I'm not the issue. You already know the truth. That's what I should have told him. That I think you know the truth and you're just kind of taking your frustration out on me. And so same question, totally different response. First set of girls listened to me, talked for 50 minutes. The second set, there were men, and one just controlled everything, packed up, left, extremely agitated, and that was that. The third set, I saw from afar off, them wheeling off their carts, and I like hustled to catch up with them. And I asked them, have you heard of the Australian Royal Commission's findings in regards to Jehovah's Witnesses policies concerning child sexual abuse? And they seemed really apathetic about it. Like they just didn't really care. One said, we have to get to a meeting, and they just went off to their car. And I posted the clip on Instagram. It was just a 1-minute conversation where they just seemed to not really care or not really want to engage. And that's a serious topic. These are real children, real lives with horrible things happening to them under the Jehovah's Witness watch. The next encounter I had with Jehovah's Witness that I want to share with you happened Monday. I was traveling and I was in the airport going through security, and I was putting my carry-on and things on the conveyor belt. You know how it is. And I hear somebody behind me mumbling or speaking to themselves. And I don't hear what they explicitly say, but I hear 2 words, Kingdom Hall. And I think, Kingdom Hall? So I kind of turn and say, did you say something about a Kingdom Hall? And she's like, oh, no, I was just talking to myself. And then I said, do you attend a Kingdom Hall? And then she said, oh yeah, I do. And then I said, are you a Jehovah's Witness? And she said, yes, I am. Are you a witness? And I said, oh, no, but I'm a Bible student. and I opened up my backpack and I had my Bible there. And I said, see, I read New American Standard Bible. And then a minute later, she pulled out her New World Translation. Could have been 30 seconds later. She pulled out her New World Translation, showed me the silver sword. And I said, oh, okay. And then she said, have you studied with witnesses? You know, what's the deal? And I told her, well, I've had Jehovah's Witnesses come over my house, but I just can't seem to get a Bible study out of them. They always want to point me to the literature, and we have to study the book, What Does the Bible Really Teach, or Good News from God. They won't just study the Bible with me. They won't just study the book of Acts or the book of Romans. It always has to be Watchtower literature. And she was like, no, like that doesn't have to be the case. We could just use the Bible. We can use whatever translation you want to use. And I said, no, they always point me to Watchtower literature. And it seems that if we don't study the Watchtower literature, then it's not really considered a Bible study to them. And if you're not going through those chapters and accepting those chapters as truth, then you're not progressing, and they cut you off. And she kind of, it was weird how she was not really understanding what I was saying, and kind of said, no, that doesn't have to be the way. We can just study the Bible. I can get somebody in your area to come to you and study the Bible with you. And I did get her email, so I'm going to have to email her something related to our conversation. And I also told her, and the Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, they believe that I need to be a member of this organization. And Jesus never pointed to an organization. He only pointed to himself for eternal life. And mind you, this is while going through airport security, taking off your shoes, taking off your jackets, going through the little thing, you know, and trying to get your stuff, my stuff back, you know, get the boarding pass. It was pretty intense and interesting how that occurred. So always be looking for opportunities, and I believe when the Lord equips you, he's going to bring people in your path. But the woman denied what I was saying as being the truth. The truth is that you cannot get baptized as a Jehovah's Witness without studying through their literature. And you would not really even accept Watchtower teachings unless you were just reading the book. I have never had a Jehovah's Witness come to my house and just use the Bible. They say that they just use the Bible, but they do not just use the Bible. They will always use Watchtower literature. They will always say, oh, look, they want to remain anonymous. They're so holy because they don't even put their names on it. And you're like, well, how do I know who wrote it then? Who's going to be held accountable for error? They will show you videos from jw.org. They will give you pamphlets. They will leave pamphlets at your door. So Jehovah's Witnesses don't study the Bible. They use the Bible as an illusion, really, and they use the Bible. They don't know that they're using the Bible to control people, but they are using the Bible to control people, and they take verses out of context that make it seem to fit their doctrine. And all the while, they believe that they're the only ones who read the Bible and study the Bible. And it's just unfortunately really sad and twisted. So that was my story. I thought it was really interesting how she's just talking to herself and she says Kingdom Hall, and then I'm like, oh, Kingdom Hall, I know about those. So yesterday morning, I get a text message from a number that I did not recognize, and the person said, how are you, Jana? And I responded, who is this? And I was thinking, Jana, it's kind of close to my name. Maybe they wrote it down wrong. Maybe it was an error when they were texting. That's kind of weird that they would say Jana. And then I was really thinking, this is just totally a wrong number. And the person replies back, LOL, and she tells me that we had met at somebody's house who I do not know a while ago. It's been a long time, and she is going through some of her numbers and texting old friends. And then she sends me a picture of herself and her brother and her dad. And the picture is at a district convention in Arizona. Okay, and they're in their suits, and she's dressed up, and she has her badges on. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this person thinks I'm Jana, who she met at somebody else's house, and she's clearly a Jehovah's Witness. What is going on? And I kind of just thought maybe I talked to her. I had given her my number, and now she's just confusing me with somebody else. And so I responded back, I don't think we met at so-and-so's house. I think we actually met at a grocery store, and we talked about Beth Sarim. And she's like, oh, I don't know who Beth is. And I responded back, no, Beth is not a person. Beth Sarim, or Beth Sarim, is a house Judge Rutherford built. And I put kind of the history of the house and the purpose of acquiring the house and the false prophecy surrounding the house. And I took pictures of the house that's mentioned in the Proclaimers of God's Kingdom book, and I even sent her a picture of the house. And I didn't send her, any videos that I did or anything like that. It was just Jehovah's Witness literature and a picture of the house off Google. And she didn't respond back, of course. I also included Deuteronomy 18, 20 through 22 on there, and she didn't respond back. And I said to her, they say this view about the house was adjusted, but this is a false prophecy, because Deuteronomy 18 is very clear. You're either a true prophet of God or a false prophet. And so again, crazy that this person would text me and confuse me with somebody else. And hopefully she'll think about what I said. I think I'm gonna wait maybe till tonight and text her back, what do you think about this, if she hasn't blocked me on text message already. And mind you, I did not send her anything apostate, did not send her a website, I did not even send her one of my videos. I simply quoted what the Watchtower has said and the Bible. And this is actually how I mostly talk to Jehovah's Witnesses, by just using their own literature and the Bible. And then they like to use the word apostate, but I'm not even using anything apostate. I'm using God's word and their own literature. And of course, there's that whole new light, old light conversation. But anyways, this is my encouragement to you. I'd love to hear any stories that you have or interesting encounters that you've had with Jehovah's Witnesses that were unintentional and kind of random, like a text message, an accidental text message to an apostate, or in line at an airport. Also, today is Watchtower Victim Memorial Day. And if you haven't seen my video of leaving a note at the Kingdom Hall, I can put that video in the description below. Have a good day. I'd love to hear your thoughts. God bless.